Early.
All right, I will officially call to order a regular meeting of the Wellington Board of Selectmen. It is Monday, November 20th, 2023. If you will join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Thank you. Okay. Next item of business is approval of minutes. In your packet, you should see minutes from our November 6th meeting.
I move the November 6th regular meeting minutes be approved as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Jim. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. That brings us to present to speak. Is there anyone in the room or online who would like to speak? I ask you to raise your hand, state your name for the record and limit yourself to 2 minutes. Is there anyone present to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Steph Summers, 4 Wine Road. I just want to say to all three of you that I think this town really exemplified how a community should come together and organize itself in something like a pandemic. And whoever thought that that would be required. I think things ran smoothly. I think people felt pretty good about what they were doing. There were a slew of problems in logistics. And just overall, I'm citing that because it was such a wild pitch to all of you. And I was pretty stunned with how smoothly and seamlessly that all happened. So I just want to tip my hat to you, and I think it's been a strong board of selectmen, the three of you, so thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else present to speak? Anyone going twice? As always, if not now, you'll have an opportunity at the end of our meeting. Correspondence?
You have everybody muted too. I'll let them.
No, they can hear us. They
Can't-
would
they
raise
can't.
their hands or go on camera.
Okay.
So. They're pretty good about this. They've been doing this for a while.
You're pretty thinking of pandemic lessons.
Right. Some good things came out of this. All right, correspondence. There's nothing. There will be a list at our next meeting.
Someone else was mentioning.
Someone else's next meeting. At the Board of Selectmen's next meeting. All right, first selectmen, status update. I only have a couple of new updates. Who am I kidding? Mike, you want to give us an update on SBC? I have one.
Yes, the school building committee report in what the committee believed to be its final form was sent to this board and the Board of Ed. Mostly as a courtesy, but just in case somebody read it and said, oh no, you missed this major thing. We've heard no feedback yet to that point. The school building committee meets tomorrow evening. And presumably will approve all the remaining minutes of all the meetings that were behind and are now caught up. Except for obviously the minutes of that specific meeting because it'll be happening. And authorize the chair, myself, to sign the report. And it will get distributed and it will be presumably also followed by an email from me as committee chairman to the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Education saying that we plan to no longer meet.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And then whatever, I'm not sure, I don't think we ever clarified what legal action would need to disband it. It just goes
It just-
inactive.
Correct. And it's similar to the last building committee, many moves ago, or large building committee, where they submitted a report and then their work was done. The appointment for individuals to that board was from X date until
Charge is
the
complete.
charge is complete. And at this point, your charge is complete with no action. So.
So essentially by completing that, issuing that report, we've essentially completed our charge as much as we can.
Yeah,
And I guess by default, that's the end.
yeah, because you'll be saying we have no further work and nothing more to go, so.
There you
Thank
go.
you for that work. And Mike, a lot of times these, appointments to boards go with our, office. And although your office is up tomorrow, you were appointed as the first selectman or his or her designee. So your term does not expire, thus you can still participate tomorrow.
Right,
So.
right.
just
So we
people are
actually, I
clear on
think,
that.
of all the members of the school building committee, everybody falls into that except for, James Marshall and yourself. Are the
Correct.
only two people whose end of term ends their participation in
Right.
the committee.
And I was a member ex officio.
Right.
I was seated in your capacity and then stepped back. So as of tomorrow, so Mr. Tanaka could be a member ex officio with no vote
The,
presence.
the most important point about all of that is that we will have enough people still in quorum
Yes.
to take our final actions.
Yes, which is great. So thank you. I have a staff update. The Public Works Administrative Assistant position is still vacant. If you recall, we had a sudden departure from that role and he's reviewing the applications now. There weren't really enough qualified applicants to hold an interview process. So while he continues to go through, it's more than likely that he'll be speaking to the first selectman about reposting the position so that we can have someone qualified. And the hiring committee for the first selectman administrative assistant, Karen's role, as she's now our human services director, that closed last week. The committee met and reviewing applications and we're preparing for interviews. So the next board will keep you up to date on that. All right, that brings us to Public Works. I don't believe Troy was able to make it with us this evening, so I will read his report, the things they've been working on. They're continuously blowing leaves off the roads and back from the sides of the roads and off catch basins, cleaning out waterways around town. They put a new catch basin and pipe on Spack Road last week. They've been picking up wood from trees that were cut down around town. So they had them cut and then off the road and they're starting to circle back to being able to pick up some of those pieces now. They patched holes around town. They've been preparing the trucks for upcoming weather. Apparently winter is coming whether we want it to or not. Roadside mowing, still continuing. They assisted human services in picking up a new freezer for them last week, and they've been trimming sight lines around town. So never a dull moment. And that's really, folks, this is just a snapshot of what they do. To characterize it all would be difficult. All right, that brings us to new business. And we have appointments. So I'm gonna start with the chief building official. I'll give you a little, I'm gonna make a motion and then I'll give you a little background. So I'll move to appoint Rich McKinnon as chief building official beginning 11/20/23, expiring June 30, 2025. Second, discussion. So it came to my office's attention that Jim Rupert had been appointed our chief building official in 2011, and it was indefinite. At the time, he worked here with us, and then he went on to become, I think he was still at that time in Bolton. So we changed a little bit of how we did business, and we began contracting their service instead of an employee to us. But the appointment never changed, and that was okay. Jim still acted as our building official until last year when he became the town administrator in the town of Bolton. And Rich McKinnon was his replacement in Bolton. So to kind of keep things clean and neat, as Jim is no longer the building official that we contract from Bolton, thought it was important that we change an official appointment. The statutes say you must have a building official. They actually don't say you have to appoint, but our practice has been to appoint an individual. So we have a contract through June 30, 2025 with the town of Bolton. So I aligned the appointment to coincide with the contract. At that time, if there's a new contract, a new appointment, the appointment could be updated. If we went with hiring our own or some other different resource, again, you'd be choosing a new individual. So that's where we got to the appointment and the date attached to it. Any other discussion? So,
No, so this is just something we historically do.
Yes. Yeah, and it's been Jim since 2011, but his, and, you
Right.
know, mostly, most of the times with a board or commission, we'll put until the charge of the committee is complete. Or we'll put an end date with folks. His was actually defined as, you know, it was an April date, April 2011 to indefinite.
That is a little more common in things like building officials
Yes.
and fire marshals, because they aren't typically cyclical, they're just there
Yes.
for a while.
They're just there until he's not there.
Right, and the value of this, although you said the law doesn't require specifically this language, the value to this is that when things do get challenged or appealed, one of the appeal processes and some of the legal challenges will ask for clarification if the official who made this determination that's being challenged has been appointed to be the representative of that community. So doing this is an extra layer of assuredness that that person can properly defend their decision.
And Jim, was the chief building official in Bolton, and then he's the individual that had been in Wellington until such time as he was doing dual work in Bolton, and Randy Heckman had been acting in that role in Wellington, and he had been the assistant for years, so Jim couldn't be there, Randy acted, and our contract says they provide a building official, and then it could be a deputy, and they choose the deputy, which has been fine. Randy has been in Wellington since Jim left. Randy is moving on to a new position, so he's actually leaving the town of Bolton. So right now it is just Rich, so we went just with their chief building official. So you're there.
A
All
lot
right,
of movement.
a lot of movement, yes. All right, so any other discussion?
Nope.
All right, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. All right, so we had some other appointments for CIP. There are actually 3 openings. And until this morning, only 2 individuals had reached out about reappointment, and no one knew for appointment until an email I received. Or I think you all saw it, this morning. So, I'm gonna offer up a third appointment here. So I'll start with moving to reappoint Jim Marshall as a regular member of the Capital Improvement Plan Committee beginning December 1st, 2023, expiring December 2nd, 2026.
Second.
Seconded by Mike. Discussion.
I
I said Jim Marshall. right?
Yeah, if you said Jim Marshall.
Yeah, you did say.
Let's check it.
So the term expires December 1st for the appointment. He's presently on the CIP committee.
Correct. There was a little bit of movement when Mike left.
Yeah.
The Board of Finance and the CIP, so he actually took a different seat than someone else would have. So this is, his term is up on, I think it's up the 21st. No, it has nothing to do with the election.
No, it has to do with whatever.
Yeah, his appointed now, but getting this back, because there was movement when Mike left,
Right,
so he's actually done as of tomorrow. So this will get it back in line with when the appointments would have been. That seat everything would have moved to December 1st when they're renewed,
okay.
so there's a, you know. a 10-day gap.
I just know the new board has their first meeting on December 4th.
Right,
I'm just wondering
he's
why.
not seated as a member of the Board of Finance, he has no
Right,
Stephanie
He doesn't,
Summers,
he's just,
he's just a regular member,
he's, right, so
but he,
we're talking CIP.
Correct.
CIP appointments.
yeah,
So I'm just wondering, it expires like December 1st or the November 30th.
except Jim's actually expires tomorrow.
Is actually
His
expired.
actually expires tomorrow, so we didn't renew it tomorrow, I put it back in line to when it should have been. Again, there was movement between Mike and Stephanie and Jim Marshall
Okay,
in there, and because one had been a regular member and one had represented the Board of Finance. It was, so this just gets the appointment back in line with the dates that it should be, and so there's a small gap in when he's seated. I mean, they have a meeting next week, which
I'm
is
just-
not planned.
it's one of
Yeah.
those things, as a courtesy, I'm wondering if we should leave that,
I took the language from our town clerk.
we should leave that to the next board to appoint, that's all I'm suggesting. In fact, I'll make a motion that we
Well, there's-
table the decision for the next board of selectmen to act upon.
There's a second to that motion? All right, seeing none, the motion on the floor is to reappoint Jim Marshall. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Don't do roll call.
Roll call vote. Mike McCoo? Mike?
Yes, aye.
Sorry. We just had a discussion.
Can you over there?
No, we had a discussion.
No.
Erica? Yeah. All right, I will move to reappoint, the motion carries. I will move to reappoint Karen Ann Caldwell as a regular member of the Capital Improvement Plan Committee beginning December 9th, 2023, expiring December 8th, 2026.
Second.
Seconded by Mike. Any discussion?
I'm still gonna make a motion to table it to the next selectman.
Ask for a roll call vote. Mike?
Yeah.
Kim?
Roll call vote on the
There will
motion
be-
that you made.
Yes, because there was
There was
no,
no second.
there was no second.
Got it. One, no.
Erica? Yes. All right, and there was a third member whose term was up when asked to be reappointed, received no response. We had communication today that the Republican Town Committee put forth two names, Peter Latinsix and Jim Bulick, for a seat on the CIP committee. Mike,
May I make a motion?
you may make a motion.
I move to appoint Jim Bulick to the.
I'll give you the language.
All right, I'll use the special language. I move to appoint Jim Bulick as a regular member of the Capital Improvement Plan Committee beginning December 2nd, 2023, expiring December 3rd, 2026.
A second. Discussion? Seeing none, I will ask for a roll call vote. Mike?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Erica? Yeah. Motion carries. You're getting a letter about your appointment from us? Okay.
See, the
And we'll
plaque,
make sure
the
you
plaque was not the end, was it?
Right.
Oh, I need-
No plaque, but you can never.
No, it's.
Once you get in, you can't ever get out. All right, the next item of business is tax refunds. Oh, I want to thank those who are, I'll always thank those who are willing to serve in this capacity, so thank you. All right, refunds.
Can I just comment on that quickly?
You
I would
can.
like to echo that, as I've stated in a couple meetings lately, sometimes it's hard to even find a warm body for these
Sure.
appointments. And to have people who have interest in it and have some knowledge, particularly somebody like Jim, who has a lot of past experience with the town government and the Board of Finance. I think it makes us lucky to have these people,
Great.
as I'm stepping away from a whole bunch of these.
All right,
Run no longer go.
So-
Don't run forward, run away.
so tax refunds, I will move to refund James T. Linares an overpayment in the amount of $110.07.
Second.
Seconded by Jim, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. They meet your list? They did. I move to refund CCAP Auto Lease LTD, a certificate, I'm sorry, an overpayment in the amount of $235.25.
Second.
Seconded by Mike, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. I will sign. Before I. All right, that brings us to the SBC final draft report. You each received that in your packets, last week. I, don't know if Mike is our representative there. It's very clear to me Mike has, had the opportunity to read it.
I've seen it.
I doubt he has much comment. The SBC asked for us to review, our board as well as the Board of Ed, to review and provide feedback, back to them. Again, you heard Mike say they're meeting tonight, tomorrow, from us getting it to our next meeting. This was the first opportunity. I would say that if you do have feedback, Jim, I do not, and I'll speak to that in a moment, that you could get back to them as soon as possible.
Yeah, and if it requires us making a slight extension, then I mean, we're at this point where it's not like we're holding up any action. if there's something really grotesquely missing from the report, we'll.
Yeah, that was the goal, and make sure we captured all that data.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think there was something glaring.
Collected, yeah.
But, you know, we did not sit as members, and while I appreciate them giving us the opportunity to provide feedback.
And then a quick glance, I didn't.
Yeah.
Jumped at. it.
Right.
But it's one of those things I wanna read a couple of times.
Yeah, we did want it to be our report, but we felt that if one of the boards that is such a high stakeholder in this said. You really needed to comment or include this information for the people who are gonna look at this 5 years, 10 years down the road. We didn't wanna say that only our opinion counts.
And, you know, regardless of the outcome of the project, it's important that we put into a permanent document what the work was, and so someone could follow that plan moving forward if a board in town so chose to go that direction. So I want to thank the committee for their work on this comprehensive document and the plan and their plan to put it forward. So thank you. Appreciate it. All right.
Yeah, if you see something, get it to me by tomorrow,
Yeah.
and we'll either delay if it's major, or we will
Yeah.
fix it, or we will decide we don't agree with you, we'll move on.
I have had the opportunity to read it, as it's been in process and in this
Yeah.
final version, so, I'm good, so thank you.
Okay.
All right, old business, the tax abatement ordinance. So we're at the point where we can continue to make some changes, or we can let the next board take this and take it to town meeting. If we take action now, we'd be asking them to call a public hearing as part of a town meeting. But we received the document at our last meeting, as we sat here, and didn't have time to really make any changes. I thought this would be something to be able to see to its completion as a board, and that has not happened. So I will ask you, gentlemen, how you would like to proceed.
I would prefer that we let it move to the next Board of Selectmen, particularly because the version we received, for, you know, not picking on anyone, but the version we received needed some explanation.
Yes,
And maybe some time for people to think about it, and I don't think tonight we have enough time for
I
that.
agree.
So I think that there's an opportunity for a reset and some communication with the new board.
Yeah, and for me, neither of the fire departments are represented here, and they were at the table when this was done the first time. I think it's important that they be at the table. So if we're not at a point where we're ready to take action, I think we leave the draft as it sits, and I will gladly go through some of it with Mr. Tanaka. He knows the emergency efficiency portion of what came through,
Sure.
but kind of aligning with what we had, and so offer
I
my.
think that's the best way to proceed.
Yeah.
Just leave it as old business.
Yeah, we haven't had any feedback yet from the fire department, so
No.
I know we had questions, but we looked at it, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will also state that there was, at our last meeting, we did take action on approving a vendor for the new street sweeper that went to the board of, I should have given this in my update, this went to the Board of Finance on Thursday. They, recommended that the Board of Selectmen call a town meeting. We could have taken that action tonight. There's lots of gray area there, and I thought it best that we not call a town meeting if we couldn't begin. There's nothing that says we couldn't, it just isn't neat and clean, so that's something else that they will inherit from us. And have a conversation about, but, so they do have an item ready for town meeting. All right, seeing no other business before us. Okay, I will move to present to speak. Once again, if you are present, you would like to speak, state your name for the record and limit yourself to 2 minutes. You do not have to be on camera, but you could wave your hand, raise your virtual hands, or if you're in the room, give us a wave and a holler. Going once, going twice. We are not a quiet community. They have nothing to say to us. All right. With that, I will move to good and welfare. Mobile food share will be here at the town office building this Wednesday, the 22nd, from 9 AM to 9:30. That is a change from our regular schedule because of the holiday. Food share had to amend their schedule. So 9 to 9:30 on this Wednesday. Please continue to support our small businesses and restaurants if you can. Again, our fuel bank is in need, so folks are looking for an end of year donation. We certainly would appreciate your generosity. We are having a runoff election for 2 races, one for Wellington Board of Education and one for Region 19 Board of Education. That will take place Tuesday, the 28th of November, here at the town office building from 6 AM to 6 PM. Absentee ballots are available in the town clerk's office. They will not be mailed.
6 PM or
6 AM to 8 PM.
All right, that.
Okay.
You and I both got
Yeah.
the
It's possible, 6 AM to 8 PM. Town offices will be closed this Thursday and Friday, the 23rd and 24th of November, to observe Thanksgiving holiday. So I want to wish everyone a wonderful holiday season and a happy Thanksgiving. I also would like to take the opportunity to wish all of the newly elected and appointed board and commission members the best in their new term. And we should all want what's best for them. Gentlemen, do you have anything for good and welfare?
Other than echoing those same sentiments to Pete, Matt, and Andy, best of luck and congratulations.
And I would further echo that and also say that thank you to the 2 of you for the collaboration and the things I've learned since January when I came to this board. I'd like to thank the townspeople who supported me for the last 5 years of Board of Finance and then the year here approximately. And for those who feel my time is up, the good news is I'm done with these things. For those who are okay with me sticking around, I am happy to still be serving the community on the for maybe one more meeting of the SBC and the efficiency committee still for the fire departments. And I got my 40th year certificate for Wilmington Hill Fire Department this past weekend, and I plan on working towards the 45th year certificate next. I hope we're gonna have a tricentennial committee starting soon,
Yeah. Maybe we'll do that.
and maybe I could
I
be
think I have a
involved
chair.
in that.
You
I
don't
will,
have
I
to.
should not be the chairman.
You certainly have a chair for the emergency efficiency committee.
Well,
All right. Anything else, sir?
Thank you.
All right. If you know me, you know sometimes I can be a bit of a softie. I know you don't always see that side. So I have written down some words so I don't forget. So my last order of business will be to share some thoughts with you. I want to thank Mike, Liza, who served alongside me for 5 years, and Jim for their leadership to Wellington. Your time and dedication is certainly something to applaud, and not something that everyone is willing to do. So thank you. It has been a tremendous opportunity to work with both of you. I have no doubt that in some way you will continue to serve the people of Wellington in the future, and I wish you well in whatever you choose to do. It was my honor and privilege to have been your first select woman for the last 6 years. I learned a lot about myself and the community through this process. There were ups and there were downs and a worldwide pandemic. And that changed a lot of the way we respond and certainly the way we do business. And I hope some of the things that we changed continue. Being able to bring meetings to you in a recorded manner, in a live manner where you can participate from where you're at is a big positive out of COVID. The other big positive was the way our community always steps up. I knew it before and I saw it then. So many of you in this room were integral in some of the things we had to do. So thank you. There were many moments when many of the moments the Board of Selectmen can be proud of, and we may have wished we had done them different. We didn't always get it right, but we always did what we believed was the best for Wellington, and I would never change that. I want to wish the incoming first selectman, Peter Tanaka, and selectmen Andy Marco and Matt Clark the best. Your success is Wellington's success, and that's certainly something we should all want. 14 years ago, longtime resident David Tharp returned from serving in Iraq, and he presented our new first select woman with a gavel, and she graciously passed it on to me 6 years ago. It's been a constant reminder to me of the democracy we are blessed to have and we should never take for granted. Mr. Tharp passed away last year, and I have no doubt he would want to see this symbol remain with this office. So Mr. Tanaka, I will leave this gavel for you in the Wellington First Selectman's office.
thank you.
Wellington is my home where I was born and raised most of my 29 years. And chose to raise my family here. I love this town and will always find a way to serve, and hopefully make a difference. All right, so I'm forever grateful for the opportunity to serve as Wellington's first select woman. And with that, I move to adjourn.
Second.
This is a non-debatable matter. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 We'll stop the recording, and I'm sorry if you're at home and you didn't join us, but there's cake here in the room. We will turn the camera off so you don't have to be jealous.